Hello, folks. We're back again. Again and again and again.
Again and again.
It seems
It's
like we were just here.
It's like we never left.
I know. It's just 5 minutes after the last video we made. It's not.
If even that.
Today we're reviewing River of Gold. I've had an opportunity to play this at up to does it go to 5? No, it goes to 4, and I've played it at the full player count and under play. In fact, I think I played it at 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if it doesn't do solo. There's no solo mode.
Right, so you've got the full review coming out.
Yeah, I actually know how this game works.
Sean knows this game.
And
he knows it so well that he kicked my ass and handedly beat me on the last play.
Which means I love this
He
game.
loves it. And I hate it. It's terrible. I mean, what were they thinking?
This is definitely when I first saw this game, I was like, oh my gosh, this is all the stuff that Owen really likes.
I do like it.
You got tracks to move up.
Mm-hmm.
We have convoluted scoring options and things that happen.
Yeah.
We've got customers to deliver to.
Oh, a little contract fulfillment.
So what we're doing in this game, you're going to roll a dice, and then you're going to take actions based on these regions. You're going to either visit them or like move your boat down a certain amount of times. You're going to deliver to customers that have that same dice marking at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to build stuff along this glorious river of gold. All of these things represent buildings, and the game starts off with just a few preset buildings. Then as we go, you're going to purchase buildings with your marker and put your marker on it, and then move up these tracks that indicate your reputation in areas, and you kind of get points from a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It's basically I don't know. I guess you're like a developer along the riverside in all these different areas, and you're also a traveler. Like,
yeah, you're almost it's almost slightly thematic of Lords of Waterdeep a little bit. I mean, in a lot of ways, even some of the mechanics are kind of similar because
really, I've never played that one.
Really? You've never played? Oh, we're gonna have to play that sometime. It plays great at 2. It gets really long when you start putting a bunch of people in it. But you're putting you're putting these buildings out, and you can land on your own building, and you get like a double benefit for it. But every time somebody else lands on your building, you're gaining something for that as well. So you're putting out these enticing buildings that other people might want to use. It's going to give them a lot of coins or whatever else, whatever bag or sack of rice that they might need. And that's but that's very reminiscent of Lords of Waterdeep. Does something similar. You're building buildings. You're taking action placement spots. You're kind of got a worker placement thing going on here with your boats and the way that you're activating these spots. You're sort of you're having to manipulate how they move based off of the die. But you're also fulfilling contracts in Lords of Waterdeep, and you're certainly doing that by billing out these customers. So you're fulfilling their orders, and then you're gaining the benefits of them coming. Because I guess once you give them what they want, they just want to like be a part of your team.
Yeah,
they're usually helping you out.
It's almost like you're hiring them in some
Yeah.
cases, to help you out in the different regions and stuff.
So it feels like you're a lord, like some kind of a lord in this whatever you want to call it. If you're a daimyo or whatever you want to call yourself, you're some kind of a noble. Even though you're also hiring nobles, I don't know how that works. You're something above a noble,
Some kind of nobleman,
but maybe not a daimyo. But yeah, so that's neat. Plays really simply. There's not that much you can do. You've got 2 boats that you're moving around, and that's how you're manipulating all of your action, like activations that are happening. Otherwise, you're just building stuff. And
what's wild is it's a really anti-AP.
Right.
Because what you're gonna do is on your turn you've got this dice, this kind of custom dice, and you're gonna roll it, and all the dice faces match the regions on these boards. Mm-hmm. So you roll a 1, it's got the same logo, and then those regions relate to these things.
Right.
So at the beginning of the game, there's going to be these holes. Well, not there, but at the beginning of the game, there'll be these holes, and you'll be able to buy. Like if you rolled the 1, you would have an option to do a couple of different things related to that 1. Well, the first thing you can do is you'll be able to use your divine favor, which is this little marker here. You can move this down so you can.
That's a dice mitigation mechanic.
Right, so you move it down 1 and you can make this into a 2.
Or a 6, because it
Yeah,
can roll over.
or a 6 because it rolls all the way over. Or a 3. So however many of these things you spend, you can change your dice around. And that keeps you from getting stuck sometimes until you run it out because you've used it too much.
Yeah, it definitely helps. It's a very, very welcome addition to this game.
But you'll be able to, you can take this one and you can do a couple of different things. And one thing that's really great about this game is it's got everything you can do right here. And it's really simple. It's a really quick teach.
Yeah.
So you could either build, so we're going to build a building. You can sail, which is moving your boat down. You can deliver, which is to deliver to these guys by giving them these resources. You get a benefit from them when you do that. And then you get sometimes an end of the game benefit. And you will get points for it too, and then you claim masteries, which are like mid game bonuses that you can get for doing a number of different things. So
yeah, and you have these like kind of wingspan-esque end game goal, or not? They're inside. Actually, they're not wingspan-esque.
They're end game.
They're inside game goals that you're going for. So there's some stuff you're racing towards. I'm assuming that'll be different every game.
There's like 5 or 6 of these, I think.
This is only the first game I've played of it, but these give you like they're kind of like races, so it's more of a honey buzz race kind of thing that you're doing, and so you gain points if you're like the first one to build or to have movement in all of the different 6 regions, or if you have all the 4 different building types, or if you have 2 of the same kind of customer that you've fulfilled their orders for. And those give you a nice little chunk of points. 5 points is a pretty, at least in our game of it, is a pretty substantial amount of points to gain.
Yeah, it made a big deal. Like our end game was like 61 to 45, and so 10 of those.
If I had got one more and you'd gotten one less, that would have put you at 56, and I would have been at 50, so it would have been a much closer game.
Right.
Sean got 2 of those, and that helped him out quite a bit. Plus, just being able to manipulate like. It seems like in this game, it's a big deal to go after your to fulfill the customers. It seems like that's almost more important than buying buildings.
You get a lot of points. They get exponentially more points every time you fulfill one.
And the benefits from the customers themselves as well.
I
thought that really helped you out a lot throughout the game. You were getting some good benefits.
Yeah, I had a nobleman that was moving me up these tracks, like each adjacent, like where if he landed on 2, for example, I would get to go up on this track and this track.
Yeah, which is pretty huge. Yeah,
that helped me out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good one. I didn't build or I keep calling it building. I didn't build a 3rd customer until the very end of the game too. So my customers weren't really doing a whole lot for me. I think this happens a lot of times the first time you're playing a game like this. Like you just want to get a bunch of stuff on the board. And like you're just trying to because I kept trying to buy stuff and I was really focused on buying things. And when you're buying stuff over here, this is neat because you're going to have a this set where it's going to show.
Oh, I think your camera's blurry. Hold on.
It's still blurry. Okay, that looks good. But yeah, you're going to have these 2 spots here where the tiles are coming out, and then when one ends, it signifies the mid game. There's a little effect that happens where all your buildings get reactivated as the Emperor's coming by and checking on all your goodness that you've been doing. But you can keep an eye on what buildings are coming out. And I even saw some times where I was like, I didn't want to overthink it too much, but I saw some times where the timing of when I was building a building ended up benefiting Sean, and I just couldn't help it because I wanted to hurry up and get one while I could. There's a benefit to building early because there's a lot of spots that are cheaper early on. And if you don't have a lot of money, then you feel like if I don't build now, I'm not going to get an opportunity to.
Yes.
But there was some spots there that you get tiles that come out and really shoot you up these region tracks, and they're pretty variable in the numbers of movements that they'll put you up each of these regions. So paying attention to this and how you manipulate the buildings that are available to come out and the ones that are coming out after that, you can kind of game it a little bit. Puerto Rico style, which I haven't even played that game, but I'm aware enough of how that timing happens when you're doing actions, and make it benefit you more and kind of not the other person. But so that's neat. I really I like that. Just the fact that these tiles are going to show up face up, so you know kind of what's coming out.
Yeah, and boy, the second round tiles, uh, like this is the only two in this stack. These are still from the first round, but they're the benefits that they gave. Like this middle part here, it determines how far up on this track you move. It's like 0, 1, and 0. We didn't want any of that.
And then it's 5.
and then it was all the second round ones. Seems like they were all bigger numbers there.
And it costs no more to build this one than it does these ones, depending on where you're putting it out here. This is where it determines how much it costs. So at the end of the game, a lot of the cheaper spots are going to be taken, so it's going to be a little harder to get those ones. But it just really kind of depends what game you're playing.
That's true. And with more people, there's more buildings. And so, like there's more buildings in the stack, so it lasts proportionate amount of time. But you also, when you sail, you get cooler stuff because what's funny in this game, I expected to be doing the sail option. So the other option you have is like whatever number you roll, like you roll a 2, you can move your boat up 2 spots, and then each of these spots has 4 things connected to it, and you're going to get these bonuses here on the front. If there's no one there, it's just like 1 koku. And then there'll be variable bonuses here. And then whoever owns these, like I happen to own these spots, whoever owns them will also get these bonuses here. So if I own this, I would get 5 and 2 points. So it's kind of nice if you land on your own stuff.
Yeah, and that is a difference. And if I guess if I was going to compare a game, it's just very, very different with the way that you're moving up tracks and things. But I keep bringing up Lords of Waterdeep because it does have there's certainly some stuff that's reminiscent, and but in Lords you don't get the a special effect, I don't think, for using your own building, but you do get a benefit from other people placing. So for here, it's like you kind of want to cluster
past your place or something.
I can see there's a good benefit of clustering your buildings together in here, because if you can cluster,
it makes it easy to skip over you too, though.
That's true, but I mean,
you could get maximum benefit if you land there.
It was easy enough to want to skip over even a single one of yours. It was like even if there's one building of Sean's, I didn't want to have to hit it. If I could help it, but I felt like I had the biggest benefit from the spots where I had multiple buildings at. It felt, anyways, like I don't know if I actually had that.
Yeah,
big of a benefit,
you're getting the front and the back benefit, so there's that. And if you had 4 buildings like that in a spot, then you could really rack up some points.
Right, yeah. Like I had some in the very beginning that were giving me a good chunk, I thought, because I like to hit that very first one, because that was just a really good spot by the end of the game. You go all the way around, you pass go at the end, you get a little bonus. So that's neat. It's a nice, fairly elegant game with the way that it's not complex to teach, and it's got a lot going on with it, but not, like Sean said, not too much AP. I had a couple little spots, especially towards the end, where I'm having to look up, like I'm looking at all the tracks that Sean's ahead of me in, and where I need to try to maneuver to get ahead anywhere that I could. So there was a little bit AP with that, but not much. Not much. It's not, and I'm AP prone anyway, so it's yeah.
One version of this game I haven't played. It's got a mini expansion that can give you asymmetric powers for these different ones, and I haven't tried that yet.
I would like that. I think that would be really neat.
I'll probably try that next time I play this.
I would want to play with the. I think it definitely benefits you playing. You need to play a basic game of this. It's not overly complicated, but just like a lot of these games, you need to kind of be aware of just even the different kinds of customers that come out, and how like they can highly benefit you in one way or another. So you can kind of get an idea why you're making choices in the beginning. Because for me, I was just like, how can I get as many buildings down as possible?
Yeah.
And that does benefit you, and especially if they're high number buildings, in the sense that you're getting to move up those tracks quite a bit. There's certainly a benefit to going for those. But I feel like it wasn't, a winning strategy. Obviously, it wasn't a winning strategy. I didn't win. but I would start to
You'd have a more focused strategy,
craft
probably.
my decisions
Yeah.
a little more early game by playing the second time. But definitely by the second time, I'd be more than happy to get out the asymmetric abilities. I enjoy that quite a bit.
Yeah, the
in
meat and
any
bones, the meat and bones of this game, you pick up like well into like after your first turn. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What I love about this is you could have that learning game and then play another one and still be
Oh.
under 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah, you could. I mean, we could just re-rack. I mean, because you hit that midpoint really quickly, and then it's just the end of the game is just right in sight the whole time. So, I mean, this is kind of on par with the amount of time it takes to play like White Castle, probably.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if it's the Eastern theme or not, but
Yeah.
it does. There's a couple of elements that remind me of that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of convoluted maneuvering when you're trying to get the things that you need, whether it's money or whether it's the different trade goods that you're looking for. That's maybe a little reminiscent of White Castle. The other thing, though, is just the time. I mean, White Castle's literally 9 turns. They can be long turns, but
Yeah.
this is easier on your. Even though I don't feel like White Castle's overly complicated. This is easier on your brain.
Yeah, I agree.
To make the decisions.
I think this is a lot. This is a lot quicker to learn too.
Yeah.
Although White Castle isn't particularly difficult
No.
if you're like us.
Yeah, it's just for some people, White Castle can just feel a little bit too like it's like you got to do so many little mental gymnastics, jumping around and figuring out how you're going to get from here to there to there to here and bounce things together. This isn't. You don't think that far ahead with this one.
Nah, and you got your little 3 things that you can do in your turn based on a dice that you rolled at the end of the last turn, and any mitigation that you do for it. So it's boy, it's simple.
How much does this game cost?
Oh, it was so this game is $50.
Yeah, and is that full price 50?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and
I bought this game in part to get free shipping.
Yeah.
Well, one, I was curious about it. I'd seen it and I thought it was neat.
Yeah.
But I think I was buying something from Miniature Market and I needed to get over like $45. So
Yeah,
I threw this in there.
It's a good gimmick. They get you to buy stuff that way.
They're so smart.
But this is a good value for $50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you get quite a bit of game.
There's stuff here I paid hundreds of dollars for. I have not played nearly this much.
Right. Yeah. Having a game that's as tableable as this is definitely a huge boon to the overall experience. That you're going to be able to like break it out easy. You're not going to stress out your wife if you're saying, hey, you want to just play a quick game of River of Gold, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
play.
Well, and
it's
the
like the
setup's fast.
Yeah,
so you can set this up in about 5 minutes or so, especially if you've done it once before. The gameplay is pretty quick, and then and the end game doesn't take forever to count up either. And so that's a pretty quick thing. So
and it's got things in it too that make me want to come back and play it again. It doesn't feel like I have explored. It feels like I've gotten about a quarter through the strategy of this game by playing it once. And not that I'm one of those people that just like maxes out my strategy on games. I usually don't get to play them quite enough to do that, but I already would like to play it again just to see other things that I could set myself up for early in the game that's going to magnify throughout the game and be a little bit more aware of that. But it's neat. It's very very opportunistic as you play. You're just kind of you see things pop up, and sometimes you just have to take them because they're there and you've got a good opportunity. But otherwise there is some background strategy that you can develop early in the game and kind of hold on to as you're playing, but you're kind of just having to maneuver as things are coming out and as people are doing different stuff, and you're trying to figure out where you can get some actual points. But it's neat. I like it.
This one's a good candidate for some cool 3D printed boats and stuff.
Yeah,
I could see like some really cool boats being made. This is a straight up retail copy. That's the only way they sold it. I could see if they did. I'm not even showing anything. I could see if they did like a Kickstarter or something. Like these would all be like little models or something like that. That would be kind of neat. The component wise, it's pretty standard. You know, we got a lot of cardboard little elements like the money and stuff, and these little glass beads, which you see and all kinds of stuff. The resources again are just little cardboard tokens. Basic but functional and and not something I felt like I was missing out by not having something fancy there.
Yeah, and I could totally see some people making some little 3D printable rice sacks, some little porcelain
If this is your favorite game, there's going to be little vases here, bags of rice and stuff.
Silk rolls and things like. Yeah, you could totally deck it out, but it's pretty nice as it is. It does have gold overlay all over the board, which is nice. And those little gold accents and things like that.
These custom dice are really neat too. Yeah. Really pretty.
Yeah.
And they match all these little symbols. It's a little hard to see. But they match these regions and stuff and these little circles here.
Spots
so
on the board,
it's really good to know, like, you roll that, and then that's where you're doing your actions that turn. So
yeah, I don't know why, and I don't know if it's just because I'm getting hung up on comparing the themes and stuff. And I brought up White Castle, but I don't know why something about it slightly gives me a feeling too of like the Tang Garden and like how you can get just how you're playing around with gaining points and stuff, and how it's just one of those games where you got a lot of end game points and things like that that's going on. I may just be convoluting that a bit just from the theme.
Just the theme. I think the artwork and stuff, that especially something about these logos, just reminded me of Tang Gardens.
Yeah,
little symbology
little
and stuff.
Things like that, and the end game scoring things you get, because you're doing that in Tang Garden too. You're gaining people, right? You're doing stuff.
Yeah, what they're looking at is your point.
And so I think you even had like similar kind of figures like nobles and stuff, and maybe artisans and things. So that may have been part of it as well. But neat. Absolutely doesn't overstay its welcome. And
really cool Asian theme or Eastern theme.
Yeah.
That's it's pretty, like there's a lot of gold. A lot of gold in this.
Yeah, the artwork's very nice on the board. I really love
you really see that sheen that goes all the way up through here.
Yeah, I love the gold accents. It's very pretty to look at. It feels good to play on. It doesn't feel like it's mostly just a bunch of icons on the board, but it feels nice the way they did it. It doesn't feel like you're playing on a spreadsheet or something like that. It's got a nice bit of flavor to each one of the sections, so I enjoy it.
I gotta say, this is probably one of the best buys you're gonna get at $50.
I think so.
Of a new game this year.
You'll probably even find it cheaper on sale at different places. And
oh yeah,
I mean, if you can get this for $40-$35, that'd be a super good deal.
Yeah, check out those places where people trade in games. Like we have Ed McKay's here in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So that is River of Gold.
River of Gold. Sean loves gold.
We love gold. What did you?
Part of the Legend of the Rings series.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They also have a game called Legend of the Rings.
Oh.
Legend of the Five Rings, I think. Yeah. Legend of the Five. I've never played that. No. Maybe we should try it.
Maybe we should.
They have a cool. Yeah. Office Dog. Office Dog is the publisher of this, or the company that made the. Oh wow, that's gold too. Look at that.
And this is who's the? It's Keith Pigott. I don't know how you say that last name. Pigott.
I'm scared to say it.
Keith Pigott.
Pigott. Yeah. Keith Pigott.
Did a good job.
If you say it with an accent, it's okay.
Keith Pigott.
Keith Pigott. Thank you, Keith. You made a good game. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And we appreciate Office Dog because that's both a really cool name for a company and a cool game to put your company's name on.
I think so. I think it is. Well done.
Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. If you stayed this long, go ahead and click like. You deserve more. If you wanted to give this game a number, what would you put?
Well, if I was going to give this a number after
1 to 10, right?
losing to you, just be down in the gut now.
It's like a 4.
Oh man, I want to play it a couple more times to give it like an official rating off this very first playthrough of it, I'm giving it. I would give it a 7.5. I could easily see that going up to at least an 8, if not even an 8.5, if I kept playing and finding some really neat strategy as I go with it. But just off my initial impression, number is a 7, and that means it's a good game. It means I'm going to like it. I'm going to be enjoying it anytime it comes out, and I'm not going to feel like I'm getting into something like too heavy. And I'm going to be happy to play it.
I think that's about the right number.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe 8, but I think
he's played it 5 times. Actually,
yeah,
so I could see it again going up.
I really like it because I win a lot. No, I'm just kidding. No, I really like this game, but I think you could only play this so many times in a row before it might start getting a little tiresome. It definitely helps to have those asymmetric ones in there, I think, to mix it up.
It's a trade-off when you're talking about a game that you can get out and get done quickly, because it means that you're not going to have as deep of an experience. I tend to prefer like those 3-4 hour games for the depth, but there's a trade-off because sometimes it's really like, I loved White Castle. We both did. We loved that one.
Yeah.
It was so well done, and it was a very quick game, and that's really hard to pull off. I still really enjoyed this quite a bit, though. It's a great game.
Yeah, I like it too. I'll play this pretty much any time it's offered, and everybody I've shown this to has had a pretty good time, even for people that don't play a lot and people that do play a lot. So
good for all.
There you go. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to Owen and I's channel. This is Owen from Organic Cardboard, and here at Pecktec Games, we have playthroughs and reviews and stuff. We do this all the time. Be sure to check those playlists out and see more of us. Until next time, enjoy your games. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.